All righty, what's going on, kids? Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Show underway for another day this Friday, August 8, 2025. Happy to have you with us. Thank you for your time and consideration. It is 7 minutes after 3 o'clock. Allow me, if you will, to get these pleasantries out of the way, and we'll get this show lumbering under its own weight. The pleasantries include, I realized the other day when I heard a lot of announcements that it was Donald Trump's 200th day in office, that somehow I'd gotten off like by 5 days, so I had to readjust it. It's day 202 of 1460.5 of his second term in office. We're happy for that, and we like to announce it early on in the show just to trip the liberals up. It is day 860, I think that one's correct, of our gatherings together since I came to Nashville, Tennessee. Started in the middays from noon until 3, now from 3 until 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There's many ways that you can watch or listen to the show. Obviously, on the FM dial, we appreciate that. Many of you already doing so. You can also catch us on iHeart, TuneIn, Spotify, really any place that you download music or news or information or podcast. You can download this radio station. Just type in Super Talk 99.7 WTN and do so, and we appreciate you doing so. You can also download our own app. That's at Super Talk 99.7 WTN in your app store. That's another choice for you. And if that weren't enough, you can watch the proceedings on Talk TV. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. You can see my ugly mug. I have shorn my head, and I am sans brace today. And I also can't figure out how to, what the hell's going on? Oh, there we go. I'm going to need Louie's help here in a minute. And I'm sure he's here to give it. Hello, Ken Weaver. What's going on in there?
Writing up news.
I'm trying to get a
bunch of it.
My microphone. I need some WD-40 on my mic here.
We should have cans of that just sitting around.
You would think. I mean, just for us old folks to just squirt into our joints.
Yeah, just for whatever.
know?
Whatever comes up, WD-40 can fix it.
Well, if that's the old saying, right? That if it doesn't move and it's supposed to, WD-40. If it moves and it's not supposed to, duct tape.
Yeah.
Got the next best thing. It's called Universal Perfectly Practical.
Oh, look, Louie's got tape.
Way to go, Brother Louie.
So there's Louie. I feel like everybody has had Louie as a producer except for the old Murphy show, and we saved the best for last. What's going on, man?
Yeah, we finna rock and roll. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How about you?
I'm blessed.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm glad that somebody told you moments ago that I'm out of here at 6 o'clock. You probably would have been confused if the host just packed up and left.
No host.
Hey, I would have been speaking for the remainder of the time.
You know what, Louie? You're probably going to make a hell of a lot more sense than I will today. But I'm going to do my best. Gentlemen, I make a commitment. Not just to Louie, not just to Ken Weaver, but to all of you ladies and gentlemen watching or listening to the proceedings. I will not check out. I will not check out. I will not check out until 6 o'clock. And then I'm on the road and I'm checking out. But we've got a good 6 o'clock hour for you. Don't you go anywhere, because we're going to have the governor. He's going to stop back in. We had the governor on, I guess, last week on the show, and we're going to re-rack that for those of you who missed it. We're also going to hear from Senator Marsha Blackburn after she announced that she's running for governor. We'll do a little bit of that and some other things that Jackson has put together for us. No Jackson today. Louie's in for Jackson. So if you call the show on First Amendment Freestyle Friday, Louie will be screening your telephone calls. And that happens at 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I particularly lean on you folks on these Fridays. Fridays are for you. Now, we take all comers every day of the week, Monday through Thursday. But on Friday, anything on your mind, if we haven't discussed something and you think we should, if we have discussed something and I got the wrong take on it, if we've discussed something and perhaps you were holding and weren't able to get on the line, maybe you just want to bring something up that's of importance to you and you want to share with the rest of the class. I put my radio, on these Fridays, I put my radio career in your hands. And I make a pretty good living at this. So that's a dangerous thing. 615-737-9986. If you want to be a part of the show today, we will discuss the census. Don't go anywhere. Where are you going? Don't. Get back here. I'm going to make it interesting. Don't go anywhere just because I said census. Ken, have I ever told you what I did to the census lady in 2010?
I don't recall that, Brother Murphy.
So I'm living in Helena, Alabama, and I decided that I was not going to be counted in the census. And I heard from a lot of people that told me that it was un-American and that I was being a jerk. And I just decided that whatever census count that they came up with in 2010, I was going to make sure that it was wrong because I was not going to be counted. So the lady that canvassed our neighborhood, she put I'll never forget it. Her name was Tanika. And the reason I remember this is because she put no less than 10 notices on my front door that she needed to talk to me about, she didn't know who I was. And so she was trying to get an accurate census count, and she could never get me to come to the door. I hid from Tanika for months, so that she could not count me in the census. And this was around the time, this was the summer of the BP oil spill. Y'all remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So I was just having a good time with it. I was like, I'm not going to be counted. And whatever the census numbers are, that they're two less than, or they're two more than they actually count because the wife and I are not going to be counted in the census. I don't know. I was just having a good time. It was a radio bit. So I'm cutting the grass one day. It's hot. I think it's in August. And a car pulls up, and I know who it is, man. And she is so excited.
She got you.
She got me. She's left notice after notice after notice. Hello, sir. I've come by your house on a number of occasions. I mean, she was the nicest person on planet Earth. I've come by your house on a number of occasions. I don't know if you've noticed the notices on the front door, but I work with the United States Census, and here's my identification, and blah, blah, blah. She's doing the pitch. And you know what I said to her, Ken?
Well,
I'm
not Matt Murphy.
I'm still kind of embarrassed. I said, ma'am, I am refusing to participate in the United States Census because of the environmental terrorism that is currently going on in the Gulf of Mexico. And she said, what? And I said, I am refusing to participate in the United States Census because of the environmental terrorism that's currently going on in the Gulf of Mexico.
Now respect my decision.
And you know what she said, Ken?
What?
Have a nice day, and got back in her car.
She's probably thinking, okay.
And I thought to myself, I wonder how many of these crazy people they have to deal with every day. And anyway, so that's my census story from 2010. The United States Census is an interesting thing. The Constitution says we only have to do it every 10 years, but our man Donald Trump has decided he wants to do it again, and we're going to talk about that this afternoon. Get your thoughts on it. Before we go there, however, I want to say a very, very sincere and I'm just thankful that I got to participate in a little something earlier today. You might notice if you're watching on Talk TV. By the way, Louie, I don't normally dress this way. I thought it was funny that this was your first day, that Louie's going to come in and think that I dress nice. I mean, I don't normally wear a jacket. I mean, I could, I guess, but, I don't. Normally, I don't look like this.
The jacket's nice.
Thank you, Louie. I appreciate it.
I dig it.
That means something coming from you. It would not mean anything coming from Weaver.
Why?
Because, well, Ken, you have a lot of incredible attributes. A lot of them.
Okay. Like being able to run the 40 and 4.4?
That's an incredible attribute.
People don't know that about me.
You got a fancy goatee. You were never. What did you admit to earlier today? I was listening earlier today. Oh, monkey bars.
Yeah. Could not make it across the monkey bars.
Couldn't do the monkey bars.
What?
Could not do it, man.
Louie, how were you on the monkey bars? Pretty good. Louie, you're young enough. Did y'all have monkey bars at school?
Yeah, we did. We had the monkey bars. We had the jungle gym.
Oh yeah. You're old enough.
The tether ball. We had everything.
Oh yeah, that was back in the day where you could get hurt outside.
Oh yeah.
And that was allowed.
We had gravel.
Yeah. Ooh, gravel. See, so did we. Our monkey bars were about 30 feet high. I'm exaggerating. But they were high. I mean, you had to climb a while to get up to them. And I mean, man, I'd get about halfway through it and then slip and boom. And so I think it got into my mind.
See, what you do to stay cool, once you get halfway, you got to turn and do a little flip.
And go back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
see,
I couldn't do that, brother.
I was just struggling to get through. And I could get through, but it was a struggle. And I was a one-at-a-timer. And those guys showing off, skipping a bar or two when they're floating through there.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones was a little squirrely fella, and he would get on top of the monkey bars, and then when you were coming through, he'd thunk your fingers. Nobody liked Eddie Jones. He smelled like bacon and pee.
It sounds like a real likable guy.
Mm-hmm. They would thunk your fingers. Because he's on top. You're doing the, and he's on top of the monkey bars.
Yeah.
Little squirrely fella.
Yeah.
And, what are you doing up there thunking your fingers? I'm trying to get you to fall off. Trying to get you to fall off. You smell like bacon, Eddie. That's what everybody said.
Well, my class got to see me fall off every Thursday.
Aw. Well, my point, Ken, was you're so good at many, many things. I don't know that I would refer to you as a fashionista when it comes to dress.
No, I wear shorts and a shirt.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So when Louis says you look good, I take that a certain way.
Right.
When you say you look good, I take it a certain different way.
Right. That's just Weaver.
What is Weaver know? What does Weaver know?
That's just Weaver.
One way or the other, I'm in a jacket, and so I'm not in the sling. This is the first day out of the sling, right? No sling today.
I noticed that.
Well, I was told after 6 weeks that I can go without the sling at the house, and then I decided I wore the sling until I got to the Capitol. I'll tell you why I was there in a minute. And I had to wear the jacket because I felt like I needed to put the jacket on to make the presentation at the state Capitol. You got to show respect, right? So I didn't want to wear the sling under the jacket or over the jacket. So I said, well, I'll just go without the sling today. And I had a great experience at the metal detector of the state Capitol. More on that in a minute. But shout out to Trooper James. I'm going to do that again right before 6 o'clock because I pull up. I was at the wrong spot, and I said to Trooper James, I'm Matt Murphy. He said, I know who you are. I was like, all right, I'm in. And I said, I'm trying to get to this particular space to park for Senator Mark Pody. He goes, no, you're not in the right spot, but we'll let you in anyway. And he gave me a parking space like right at the I think I had the governor's parking lot, Ken.
Awesome.
I think I had the governor's parking space.
Awesome.
It was pretty cool. So thanks to Trooper James.
I bet that's right by the front door.
Oh, no, it was right next to the front door.
Yeah.
I feel it necessary to say I didn't really have the governor's space because I don't want Trooper James to get in trouble. And anyway.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Yeah, I'm just kidding, but not really. So I went because of the Young Conservatives Day on the Hill was today. We had young Schuyler and Morgan in a couple of times talking about they were putting this together for Senator Mark Pody. What a great job they did. What a fabulous job they did. And any number of people, I don't know how many, but they gathered together in the House of Representatives, and we spoke. I was there speaking. Former Speaker of the House Beth Harwell was there. There were a few other speakers talking about politics in general, getting involved in particular. My role was to talk about the media and the changing role of the media in the political spectrum. Had a great conversation there. I don't feel like I made a lot of sense, but, some said I did, whatever. But so I park, and I take the sling off, and I'm just going to go in, sans sling because I don't want all that going on. And it's the first time I've not had it on. And I get to the line where the metal detector is, and I thought about what the orthopedic surgeon told me during my pre-op visit when I was getting ready for the shoulder replacement. So for those that don't know, I had a complete shoulder replacement, and I had the metal pin put down in the arm and the ball and all of that stuff. And so there's a lot of metal in my arm now. And I asked the orthopedic surgeon because, he's selling – I wouldn't say he's selling me on the surgery, but, he's there to engage in surgery on me. He's not there, So I'm like, well, what about airports? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, won't I have trouble going through airports now? And he said, orthopedic surgeon, has a doctor in front of his name, probably went to school like 8 or 9 years. His response to me going, well, what do I do at airports? He went, don't worry about it. And I went, what? I was like, is that what they're going to do? And he goes, you'll be fine. Just tell them you had shoulder surgery.
Yeah, just tell them that.
And I'm like, okay. But then I think, well, that's never going to work. It's no way that's going to work. I mean, for all he knows, I'm going to go through an anal cavity search every time I go to the airport now. Thank you to my bum shoulder. So today I'm in line, and I'm like, well, this is the first time that I'm going to experience going through a metal detector with my new shoulder. And I walk, and I'm waiting in there, and I'll get the the keys out and put the keys over here and do this over here and that over there. And then I go through the line and the thing, bah, 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 it goes off. And I look at the state trooper and I said, I just had shoulder replacement surgery. And you know what he did, Ken?
What's that?
He went, bah, that's all right. Go on through.
Just go.
He did exactly what the orthopedic surgeon said he was going to do.
See.
He just went, bah.
I trust you.
I'm like, I feel like this is a flaw in the system. Like, why wouldn't it, if I decide to carry, some sort of metal object on the next plane flight I want to go to, why wouldn't I just say I got a shoulder thing?
I just had shoulder surgery.
Going through.
Well, you're good.
I don't think they're going to say that at the airport, but maybe. Anyway, it was a great time. I'll share more of this adventure at the state capitol with you in just a moment. Your telephone calls this afternoon. We're talking census. We're going to talk a little bit about the 7th Congressional District today. I'll have a something or two to say about the state of affairs in the Middle East before we get out of here. But most importantly, your telephone calls. And Friday is coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as well. It is 23 after the hour. You're listening to The Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let's talk about stinkiness when it comes to your auto repair. Friends, it's Matt Murphy for Eurofix. And sadly, a lot of the auto repair shops you go into, they just stink. I mean, they stink in a lot of different ways, but, mostly they just stink. Smelly, greasy rags lying around, countertop that you wouldn't touch, a seat that you wouldn't sit in if on a bet. It's not just that stink, though. It's the stink of not knowing when your car is going to be ready. They're not being honest. They don't call you back when they say they're going to call you back. If that was your last experience at an auto repair shop, let me tell you about Eurofix. They are the #1 go-to shop for all European auto repair in this community. A free no-wrench inspection, 15-minute no-wrench inspection for you at Eurofix. Never a high-pressure sales tactic. They'll just tell you what's wrong with your vehicle. Plus, at Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a rental car with every repair appointment. You never pay dealer prices at Eurofix. Eurofix is in Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now in Mount Juliet, 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or visit myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com, and tell them Matt Murphy sent you. Hello, folks. Matt Murphy for Alpha and Omega. Alpha and Omega is not new to the computer services industry. As a matter of fact, far from it. They've been around since 1998. I asked Michael when we sat down the first time, I was like, man, I bet things have changed because you have no idea. I mean, the cybersecurity threats that they deal with on a regular basis nowadays, I mean, man, oh, man, it is such a threat to you and your business. You don't know. You don't know what you don't know, but here's the great thing. Alpha and Omega, they do know. For example, 70% of cyber attacks target small to medium-sized businesses. And you might think that if you've only got 15 or 20 employees and you've got a small computer system that you run your operations from and you're internet active, that you're immune from cybersecurity threats. You are not. As a matter of fact, you're targeted because they know you'll pay. The bigger companies, they go after them too, but they have better firewalls. You need firewall protection. You need Alpha and Omega on your team. They guarantee that they're going to live up to the highest standards of cybersecurity. It's not just that. It's printers, it's IT, it's everything computer related. You need to give them a call today at 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or online at aando.net. That's aando.net for our friends at Alpha and Omega.
A leadership change underway atop the Internal Revenue Service. This story and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. And that's in a minute or two. We'll get to that. Hello, gang. Hello, friends. Hello, neighbors. Hope everybody's having a good Friday thus far. It's almost the weekend, friends. Official. Appreciate all of you being a part of the Matt Murphy Show today. Ken Weaver's in the news closet. He will deliver those headlines presently. Louis behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. My name is Matt Murphy, and I'm your humble host, normally until 7 o'clock today. And really, for all intents and purposes, I'm here until 7 o'clock today, but I'm not live and in person after 6 o'clock today. So get your calls and questions in before then if you choose to do so. 615-737-9986. Louis getting a shout-out on the YouTube chat. The YouTube chat is a crazy place, man. Y'all are insane. Cosmo says, Matt Murphy looking very dapper today. Cosmo, I would encourage you to get to an eye doctor of your own choosing and work on that, because I don't know that I've been dapper in a long, long time. I am dressed up. I'm dressed up because of our adventure to the state capitol. These young ladies who were interns for Senator Mark Pody had a project to put together a young Conservatives Day on the Hill. And we had a lot of young people show up. I don't know how many, but they were all in the house. We got a chance to speak to them. My message was regarding the media and how, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to deliver kind of the same message to you that I delivered to them, because I think it's important to understand we have more of a democratized media than at any point in my life, and I would say at any point in American history. But with great power comes great responsibility. We as consumers have more power than ever, but we are being manipulated behind the scenes more than ever. And it's important that you understand that. So we'll get to that. A lot of folks have thoughts about the monkey bars and what used to be the playground at school that is no longer the playground at school. I mean, it was just Coach Powell, man. When Coach Powell came out on the playground, we know that if you wanted to be spun on the merry-go-round, better line up, because it was his goal to whip you off the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
Coach Powell considered it a personal failure if he didn't make a kid puke.
Yeah.
And he made it. I know. I watch kids puke, Ken.
Oh, yeah.
And, it's like, well, suck it up, Buttercup. Wash out that mouth with some nasty water from that fountain over there, and let's go. More on that coming up as well on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's time for the news, 31 after the hour.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Houston, we no longer have Jim Lovell. He has passed away. Who can forget this moment in U.S. space exploration history as commander of Apollo 13 after an explosion occurred on board the spacecraft? Commander Jim Lovell.
Hey, Houston, we've had a problem here. And say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
That's Jim Lovell. He passed away today, the age of 97. There's a leadership change underway atop the Internal Revenue Service. The reasons for the change aren't entirely clear, but the New York Times reports less than 2 months after being narrowly confirmed as IRS Commissioner, Billy Long will leave that post to be nominated as an ambassador. The White House says Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will take on the duties of acting IRS Commissioner until the post is permanently filled. And President Trump nominating his top economic aide, Stephen Myron, to the Federal Reserve Board. Here's ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
He's going to be getting a key vote on the Federal Reserve. He is just one of 12 votes, but still this does put more pressure on the Federal Reserve chair as President Trump has been escalating his attacks on Fed Chair Jerome Powell for not lowering interest rates.
And Department of Justice seeking additional information shown to federal grand juries in New York that indicted Jeffrey Epstein and his former companion Ghislaine Maxwell. This is in addition to the transcripts of testimony. And a new Instagram feature causing some confusion and concern among users. Rebecca Jarvis.
The Instagram Friend Map lets users share their live location with a select group of friends, rolled out this week, but it did have some users worrying about privacy and security. The head of Instagram is clarifying that you do have to opt into this feature. It will not automatically share your location.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've got the usual slowdowns around the downtown loop, northbound 65 up to the south loop. That is already bumper to bumper and stop and go from 440. Same goes for northbound 65 over on the north loop. And then west of Nashville, we had that earlier bus fire. The right lane is blocked because crews trying to clean up the mess have to be in the right lane in order to clean it up. This is going to be 40 eastbound just past Centerville-Dixon Highway 48, exit 163. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So I was talking with Holly just the other day. Holly from Savory Spice. You know, I talk about Holly and David all the time. They're local owners of Savory Spice. They're right down there in Franklin. If you've never gone in, you need to go. Man, the smell alone is just delicious. I mean, you walk through the room and you smell nutmeg or cinnamon, and then over here you smell mustard and dry mustard, and then over here you smell Italian spices and seasonings, and here you smell salt and I mean, it's just an array of international and different types of flavors. But she was telling me, I was looking this up because she was telling me that I needed to get down and pick up a new blend. It is the new Birria blend. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Birria. It's brand new from Savory Spice, and it's delicious on Birria-style tacos. And she wants to share it with everybody, just absolutely everybody. And I want to share it with you. So if you're into Mexican, they've got great Mexican flavors, great Mexican spices, but they now have a Birria blend to go in your taco selection. So perhaps if you're thinking about what to do over the weekend, maybe that's a good selection for you. Maybe that's a good suggestion. Whatever you're thinking about, you're going to up that food game by upping the spice game. And you up the spice game by walking through the doors of Savory Spice. Don't go to the discount place. Don't go to these spice racks where you don't know how long that junk's been in there. Go to the best. Go to Savory Spice just off the square in Franklin. And when you do, tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Savory Spice. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Just moments ago, President Donald J. Trump confirmed that he will be meeting with Vladimir Putin. He said that he will announce the location at some point today. So we'll bring you that news as soon as we have it on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 39 after 3 o'clock Central Time, Middle Tennessee time. And Donald Trump made that announcement mere moments ago, saying that he will meet with Vladimir Putin soon, trying to get an end to the Ukrainian-Russian conflict, committed to doing that, and that he will be meeting with Vladimir Putin in that effort a little bit later on. Of course, that deadline, tick-tock, 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 continues. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you're invited. 615-737-9986. We'll get back to Washington, D.C. in just a moment and talk about Donald Trump's announcement on the census and my take on it. In the meantime, Mike writes in and says, I don't get to listen very often. Did I miss Chris Webber leaving? Well, yes, you did. Chris Webber, beloved figure on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, left earlier this year. He and his lovely wife moved back to their home state of Georgia to be closer with the family, and we wish them the best. Hadn't heard from Brother Webber in a minute. I hope he's doing well. I owe him I got a Home Depot card that I need to send him, and I owe him $10, Ken. You know that?
For what?
So when they installed, Louis, have you seen the TV, the beautiful television, by the way? You see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
So
nice TV.
yeah, that's nice. Joan Jones, you know Joan, morning, little dainty Joan Jones. She did that. She busted that TV up, at least according to Dan Mandis. Dan says that she did it in a moment of pique. I don't know. I would suggest that Dan did it, and I've been trying to promote the idea that Dan did it, and he's just laying the blame on Joan. One way or the other, when they installed that television, Chris Webber and I were talking about it, and Chris noticed that when Webber opened the door one day after the show, and he noticed that the handle on the studio door, which is a very heavy door, would hit the television exactly where you see where that little spot is on the TV?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the door handle hits it right there. Imagine that.
That's a heavy door.
That's a heavy door. And so Chris said, who do you he said, who do you think is going to break this TV first? And I said, I got $10 on Dan Mandis. And so I'm hopeful that Dan eventually admits to the crime so I can collect my $10 from Webber. But as it stands, I owe Webber $10 because it wasn't Dan, it was Joan Jones. But I still maintain it was Dan. He's just making Joan take the blame.
Joan is strong.
I mean, you know what? Because that door, you'd have to push that. But you've seen her. I wouldn't of all of the people up here, Louis, Joan would be low on my list of people to mess with.
Yeah.
I bet she wouldn't have a single problem with the monkey bars.
You're digging at me.
I am not.
You're digging at me.
The super texters are. The super texters are saying that they worry about you on the monkey bars because you've got so much further to fall.
Well, I really had a long way to fall back in the fifth and sixth grade.
Because those things seemed, you're right, kid, those metal, we had these metal structures at Thompson Elementary, the jungle gym, and the big old metal swings and the big old metal slide. And it felt like those monkey bars were 30 feet high. You're right. Woo. And there's Eddie Jones thunking. And yes, I'm not saying thumping. He was thunking. He was he was thunking you on your hands with he's thunking you.
Well, and what's funny is back then the teachers or whoever was watching, supervising, they thought it was funny too.
Oh, yeah.
They just let it happen.
I'm fairly convinced that there were several members of the teachers group at Thompson Elementary that were drinking on the job. And I told you about Ms. Boyd. Ms. Boyd was angry. I don't know what Ms. Boyd went through early on in her life, but she was angry, and she took it out on the children.
Oh, yeah.
Took great pleasure in offering you a couple of licks. If you were late to her class or got caught chewing gum, woo!
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I've told you about my 8th grade history teacher. I mean, she didn't use a paddle. She'd haul you up in front of the class, double up her fist, and hit you in the butt.
Oh.
In front of everybody.
What?
And I mean, we would laugh.
What?
Yes. She'd say, you got a bad case of running your mouth, boy. Get up here. Get on up here now.
And she just hit you?
And you'd bend over, and she'd double up her fist. And I remember her wig would kind of come askew.
Did she wear glasses?
Yes.
Miss Boyd had a wig, too.
The ones that wear glasses.
She'd double up her fist, and give you 3 punches in your butt.
What'd you say, Louis? You got to watch the ones with the glasses.
Watch the one that wear
yeah,
glasses.
you got to watch the
Glasses, the wig, and the big earrings.
Oh, man. Ms. Boyd, I'm convinced now that Ms. Boyd was a large black woman. And I'm convinced that something happened, and I'm sure that it was wrong. Whatever happened to her happened. But she took it out on everybody. I mean, my goodness gracious, everybody. You didn't mess around in Ms. Boyd's class. My goodness gracious.
Miss Jones either, man. You didn't mess with Miss Jones. But you wanted somebody to because it was so funny to watch. And there was always somebody. I remember his name was Vincent Price. I had a classmate by the name of Vincent Price who probably 4 or 5 times that year got frogged in the butt by Miss Jones.
Miss Jones.
And he'd just laugh, and everybody else would just laugh.
I bet, yeah, everybody thought it was great.
It was.
You didn't think it was great. Ms. Boyd would take you out to the out of class, and she, I got 3 licks by Ms. Boyd for chewing gum in class. 3 licks, chewing gum.
Mm-hmm.
And she would get Coach Waller across the way. He was the algebra teacher. Ms. Boyd taught social studies, and he, because you had to have a witness.
Yeah.
And she would check. She had her paddle, and she would make sure she wasn't going to hit the lockers on the other side of the hall. And she would come back, and she would boom, and then hold it there.
Yes.
And I swear to you, Ken, I swear she kind of rub on it.
Well,
Just
yes.
rub it a little.
Well, it held the heat in.
And then come back, and then you got 2 more coming. Bam!
Yeah.
And your ass hurts for about 20 minutes, and then it just, for the rest of the class, it feels warm.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Ms. Boyd. God rest her. I don't know. She might still be around. I don't know. I felt like she was 90 years old then, but
I don't think Ms. Jones is around anymore. She was kind of up there back then.
So Ken wants us to believe that Ms. Boyd would no. Ken, your Ms. Jones impersonation sounded a lot like Strother Martin, apparently. What we have here.
Now, she wasn't Strother Martin, trust me.
Failure to communicate.
She was not Strother Martin.
The original Hold My Earrings teacher. That's probably about right.
Man, she was funny.
Oh, man. Ms. Boyd was not.
I'm telling you, man, I loved my 5 years in East Texas. That town in East Texas where I went to school.
Whereabouts in East Texas?
Marshall, Texas.
Oh, man.
It's about 30 miles west of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay, so you were on the green side of Texas.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's a point in Texas where everything goes from green to brown, right? That's around Dallas.
Yeah, I was on the green side.
You're on the green side of Texas. That's good. I know a lot of people on the brown side of Texas. Odessa and that area, the Brian Wilson country out there.
Brian Wilson's territory right there.
Midland out there in the Dust Bowl.
Yes, sir. I got family there in Midland.
Well, yeah, they had a lot of oil.
Whole bunch of oil.
A lot of oil. One of my uncle-in-laws got rich on that pipeline stuff. I don't know anything about it. 47. I don't know. I don't know. Rich. I might be saying too much. I need to be quiet and move on. Sally says, so Ms. Jones sounded like Strother. Yes, we've established. Okay, yeah. A lot of people are saying Ms. Jones sounded like Strother Martin. And yes, I agree. 48 after the hour. Let's talk about the census. So the census is required in the Constitution of the United States. President Donald Trump has directed his Commerce Department to conduct a new census, which now has liberals freaking out. One that he says will count the citizens of the United States of America and those legally in the. And here's the thing: you have to get through some of the liberal talking points when you go through these stories, because they're couching this in a particular way. Donald Trump has not said that we're only counting citizens. What he has said is that we will only be counting those who are legally in the United States of America, to include citizens and others who have legal documentation to be here temporarily or permanently. But we will not count those who have entered the country illegally. Trump said earlier this week, I've instructed our Department of Commerce to immediately begin work on a new and highly accurate census based on modern-day facts and figures, and importantly, using the results and information gained from the presidential election of 2024. People who are in our country illegally will not be counted in the census. Thank you for your attention to this matter, which is a new he posted this on Truth Social earlier in the week. I guess it was yesterday he posted it. And I absolutely love the fact that he's now ending all of his statements with, thank you for your attention to this matter. So this has no doubt many people on the political left and reporters and whatnot in media circles freaking out. How dare he can't do this? Yes, he can. He most certainly can, and he will. And for those of you wondering if he has the legal authority to do it, let me disabuse you of the notion that he does not. He most certainly does. The Constitution of the United States of America gives, or it demands, that we count the census every 10 years. The primary constitutional purpose of the U.S. Census is the apportionment of seats in the House of Representatives, and by extension, electoral college votes to the individual states. Now, Section 2 of Amendment 14 states that representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state. As a result, residents are enumerated in the decennial U.S. Census without regard to citizenship or legal status. We do it on the even years because it's easier that way. The Constitution demands that the census be held every 10 years, every decade. There's nothing preventing the president or anyone else, any other body, from doing it more often. Matter of fact, if the president wanted to do it every 6 months, 2 years, whatever, he could. Now, the question becomes why we count persons and not citizens, or persons or not individuals legally in the United States of America. I'm going to get to the heart of that question here in just a moment. And then we'll have Friday in the 4 o'clock hour, where you get an opportunity to ask questions and have answers of our legal correspondent, Jay St. Clair, who's on the road. So we got him on the phone today, not via Zoom, but he'll be on our phone today. It's 51 after the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Folks, if you aren't sleeping as well as you would like, if you snore a little bit and your significant other, your partner, has noticed, particularly for you men, but for you ladies as well, this could be an aspect of sleep apnea, and that's not going to go away on its own. It is time to get some assistance. It's time to do something about it with the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Let's call Dr. Brian McLaughlin. The last thing that I could imagine is wearing a CPAP machine. I am just not a candidate for a hose and a mask and all of that stuff going on. But what I can tell you is that with the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center, I have an FDA-approved oral device. It goes in my mouth. It will go in yours. It is custom fitted for my mouth. Therefore, it fits tightly, securely. You don't notice it after a night or two, and it gently holds the jaw forward, giving you the ability to breathe throughout the course of the night. Your jaw doesn't become slack and therefore create snoring, and with snoring, sleep apnea issues. Bottom line is this: you breathe throughout the night, you sleep better, you have more energy in the morning, and you don't have the health issues associated with sleep apnea. That's what it's all about. Go to TennesseeSleep.com to find out more. 2 locations, one's in Murfreesboro, the other in Brentwood. TennesseeSleep.com, and tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center.
His family says an elderly man is dead after being hit by a car in Christiana this morning. It was the last thing he ever did, and it was to try to help someone. Details coming up at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 3618 says, I was a census worker in 2020. I'm kind of wondering how they're going to verify if you're a citizen and or legal. I think you just ask for paperwork, right? Can I see some ID? I mean, it's kind of the same. I mean, I would think it's the same way as you would identify a legal resident in any other aspect of any of this. I would think. The United States Census has an impact on the representation in the House of Representatives. It, by extension, has a residual effect on the Electoral College. It matters in as much as there are some that believe that blue states that welcome illegal alien activity, for example, California, there are suggestions that California have as many as 3 or 4 additional congresspeople that they ought not to have if you only counted legal residents in the United States of America. Here's what I would say, and I know we've got to get to Ken Weaver in the newscast, and we've got Jay St. Clair coming up after that. The reasons that our founding fathers used the term persons had to do with slavery. And I understand that it was obviously an evil in the United States of America's history. But that's why they called it persons, because the southern states wanted slaves to be counted for representation purposes. And they weren't considered citizens of the United States. They were considered persons, which is why the Constitution uses the term persons. We now no longer have, thank God, slavery in this country. And it was never the intention of the founding fathers to count non-legal residents. More coming up on that on the other side, plus Jay St. Clair, your telephone calls, your questions of a legal variety. Get them in here, 615-737-9986. It's The Murphy Show on Super Talk.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, an elderly man is dead after being hit by a car in Christiana this morning. Channel 4's Dryden Quigley says his family says the last thing he did was try to help someone.
86-year-old Jerry Smotherman lived here on Shelbyville Highway. It was around 5:30 this morning when he noticed that there was a car stuck on the median, so he went to go see if he could help. That's what his family says. On the way back, he was hit and killed by another car.
Smotherman hit by a 2013 Chevy Malibu while assisting victims of that separate crash. The driver of the Malibu is not expected to face charges. Mexico responding to reports the U.S. military will target foreign drug cartels. ABC's Inez de la Cutera has more from the foreign desk.
Mexican President Sheinbaum saying, quote, the United States is not going to come to Mexico with the military. We cooperate, we coordinate, but there won't be an invasion. That is ruled out, end quote. 2 U.S. officials confirmed to ABC News that President Trump has directed the Pentagon to prepare options for the possible use of U.S. military force against drug cartels that have been designated as terrorist organizations. Inez de la Cutera, ABC News. At the foreign desk.
Change in leadership at the Internal Revenue Service. It is not clear why, but the New York Times reports less than 2 months after being narrowly confirmed as IRS Commissioner, Billy Long will leave that post to be nominated as an ambassador. The White House says Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will take on the duties of acting IRS Commissioner until the post is permanently filled. And countries are scrambling to respond to President Trump's new tariffs. Meanwhile, U.S. businesses and consumers preparing to face higher costs. ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
Toyota expects to take a $9.5 billion hit to its profits because of tariffs. American makeup company e.l.f. said their profits fell 30% because of tariffs on Chinese imports. And when it comes to how it impacts you and me, well, the Yale Budget Lab estimates tariffs could cost the average household $2,400 more per year. Fresh produce prices are expected to rise 7%, and the average price of a new car could jump by $6,000.
President Trump nominating as top economic aide Stephen Myron to the Federal Reserve Board, putting the White House one step closer to shaping the Federal Reserve. He's going to temporarily fill this seat at the Federal Reserve that was vacated earlier early, that is, when Adriana Kugler announced that she was going to be stepping down before the end of her term. Myron is somebody who has been a staunch defender of President Trump's economic policies, including tariff policies, and he's also been critical of the Federal Reserve. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've got crashes on all three interstates. Let's start with I-24 in Jolton, where police reporting a crash eastbound past New Hope Road. I-40, one right by the airport, right shoulder block westbound before the International Airport. And then Dixon, we've got, looks like Hickman County in Dixon, earlier bus fire, right lane still blocked, trying to clean that up, 40 eastbound past exit 163. Wilson County, 40 eastbound before exit 245. And then I-65 northbound got a crash right there at I-24 downtown. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, kids, here we are. Here we go. It is 8 minutes after 4 o'clock on this Friday edition. Happy to have you with us this August 8th. It is episode 860 of our time together, and we thank you for every moment of yours. Whatever time you're able to give us, I'm certainly appreciative. We'll celebrate Friday coming up in about an hour from now. Ninkham Poops in the News about an hour and a half from now. I'm out of here at 6 o'clock. Don't you worry, though. We leave you in the capable hands of Matt Murphy and Governor Bill Lee and Senator Marsha Blackburn in the 6 o'clock hour today. got to get out of here a little bit early today for reasons that I have explained on numerous occasions and need not be explained right now. However, right now, I'll tell you what we will do. We're going to welcome in. Hey, have you alerted Louis to the thing? Thank you very much, Mason. It is time, friends and neighbors, one of the favored segments of the Matt Murphy Radio Show at this 9 minutes after 4 o'clock. Let's bring him in here. It's time for Friday. Yeah. Yeah. Indeed it is. The man is on the road today, so no Friday on the TV side of things, but we've got him on the line. I'll lock him in here, and we await your legal questions. He is our great friend. He is our legal correspondent. He's a good Tennessee man. He's my best friend in the world, and sometimes we tour real estate investment opportunities together. Sometimes we go to investment symposiums together. I don't know if that's happening anytime soon, but I know this. Jay St. Clair's on the line. It's Friday. What's up, Jay?
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
You know, if I were any better, I'd be bent over a crap table right now with my best buddy trying to make a hard pen.
Whew. That's, man, oh, man. Late at night trying to hit that hard. That's hard living, Jay. Hard living. Looking for those hard
I don't know if you can hear it or not, but I am in the middle of a driving thunderstorm.
Are you? Well, you sound good. Well, be safe.
Well, you may hear thunder popping outside. Yeah, I'm going to pull off here as soon as I get this next second. Everybody's going 30 miles. We're on the interstate. They're going 30 miles an hour with a flasher.
Well, man, oh man, that's well. I bet I can identify where you are based on the radar and the thunder boomer. But
yeah.
Well, you're coming in great. Just be safe. If you got to get off the line, just let us know. Safety first.
I'm going to get off here. I'm getting off there. Stay right up here.
Jay, always good to talk to you, and I look forward to seeing you a little bit later on this weekend myself.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good time. So I have, sometimes I know that I have questions for you that come at me from in a political way. And right. I ask you to clarify them from a legal standpoint, and I know you're going to give me answers that I don't like. I know you're going to do it.
Well, I don't make the law, man. I just report it.
But I'm going to do it anyway because Donald Trump has decided he wants a new census.
Right.
And, which I think he has every legal right to do. I mean, the Constitution says you have to do it every 10 years, but it doesn't say anything about not doing it more.
No, absolutely. They can take a census anytime he wants to. Now, what use that's put to is a different matter, but he absolutely can take a census anytime he wants to.
Mm-hmm. And I have made the argument, Jay, and I've given some background into the thought process of the Founding Fathers and why the Founding Fathers chose specifically to use the word persons
right,
with regard to counting of the census as opposed to citizens.
Right.
And I have presented that, and I don't think it matters from a legal perspective, and that's why I know you're going to tell me what you're going to tell me. But so their thought process, though, had everything to do with slavery at the time. And
that's probably right, man. But I'll go ahead and excuse me for interrupting.
No, go ahead, go. No, hit me with it.
So here's the deal. There's the plain text. Right, the word, and it's clear we can all agree that the word that's used is person. But then you're exactly right. The way the current Supreme Court is doing it, this is a huge change from 20 years ago. Scalia is the one that really brought this in, sort of textualism, and is what did that word mean to the Founding Fathers?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're in exactly the right thought process now. And the example you've heard me use, that the meanings of words change over time. So you have to look at what were they meaning when they used that word. And my favorite example is Nimrod. And there's this great story about Justice Scalia and the word Nimrod and how its meaning changed over time.
Uh-huh.
So I think you're right, but what I don't know are the historical documents.
Right.
And there will be a paper trail, some kind of paper trail. And that's what the Supreme Court looks at now. They go back and look at historical documents and they will try to understand what the writers of the Constitution had in mind when they said person.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I'm just trying to filter this out and to figure out what the outcome might be. And even if my speculation's correct, and even if and I don't pretend that I've done all the research, and you're right. I mean, there's plenty of paperwork that I've not gotten into, background writings from founding fathers, contemporary to the founding of the United States of America, where they were, and that's what's so wonderful about the youth of our country, really, is that, as these documents were being presented to the American people, well, the people that were doing the debates, they were writing letters back home, and they were, and all of that still exists, right? So
we have all the original history. Well, here's one of the things I would be looking for, and I'll bet you these records exist. I don't know. Well, the very first census, did they count non-citizens? I mean, we will be able to determine that, man, pretty quickly. I mean, maybe not the first census, but there will be a paper trail on when did we start including non-citizens in the census.
Well, I mean,
and if non-citizens were included from the very beginning, then I think Trump's going to lose it.
Well, how about this? The 3/5 compromise.
Yep.
And it's, we talk about it all the time. I mean, it's, slavery is just an unfortunate reality of the beginning of this country.
Well, it's the worst thing this country ever did.
Right. But it happened. And there was a debate when they began the discussion about representation as to whether or not enslaved people were to be counted. And it was determined when totaling up a population for the purposes of representation in the House of Representatives that enslaved people would count as a 3/5 of a person.
That's right.
And even discussing it nowadays is awful. And I mean, it's just horrible.
No, it's awful.
to consider.
It's the worst thing this country ever did.
But I believe, and I think it will be, and I don't know that it's going to matter when all is said and done, but I think that is why the verbiage is people.
Well, yeah, but it's a different clause, man. It's a different clause. If you'll pull up that from the Constitution, the 3/5 thing, that they separate the population into, I think, maybe 3 different groups, but certainly 2. So there's a separate part that deals with the slaves. But then it goes on to say free persons. So that part of it is not dealing. The slave part was dealt with the 3/5.
Yeah, it says.
So this is separate from. Yeah, go ahead and read it.
No. Well, I was going to look. It declared that any person who was not free would be counted as 3/5. This is a synopsis. It's not the exact.
Yeah, but you got to read. You got to read the original document. But that's right. That the persons things refers to free persons. That's not talking about slave.
Let me pull it up and see, because they intentionally, the 14th Amendment uses persons too, and this is writing in the aftermath, and I think that is in a direct response. So you're dealing with, regardless of the exact language. I think that's important, though. I mean, not regardless, but I think it's important. But you're going to deal with the word people, and I think persons, and I have a feeling that, regardless of what we determine the constitutional framing intent was, because I don't know that the founding fathers had the intent of allowing anyone that got here illegally, not through the proper process. But here's the thing. Here's the struggle I have, Jay, even as I say that. Immigration was so different then. I don't know that there were orderly laws at that point as to how one came into the United States of America.
Well, here's the deal, man. They could have very easily used the word citizens, because if you'll find the exact language in the Constitution, you'll see that 3/5 is in a separate clause. So this part that is at issue is not talking about slaves. But they use the word persons. And so what I would want to know is let's go back to the first census records we had. And did that include non-citizens, or was it just limited to citizens?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be able to determine that. We may not be able to determine it from the very first census, but we'll be able to determine it in the early 1800s.
Right.
And whatever my prediction is, whatever we were doing in the 1700s or particularly the early 1800s, that's what the current Supreme Court will say is the law.
Quick timeout. Jay's on the line with us. He's here for the duration of the hour. So if you have any questions for Jay St. Clair, get them in here. 615-737-9986, having to do with constitutional law or anything having to do of a legal matter. We always have great response to Jay being on the line with us. You can hit us up on the super text line, 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986, or on the phone lines as well. It's 20 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest is simply the best when it comes to pest control inside of your home and outside of the home as well. Let's talk about that outside aspect for a minute, because now is the time that the pets and, even the family might be bringing in fleas and or ticks from the yard into the home. And if you allow this to happen, the infestation could take hold inside of your home. And friends, I don't want that to happen to you. So let's get with U.S. Pest. JK and Erica Brister can help. They'll keep those bugs from the yard, out of the house, and they'll keep them out of the yard too. All you have to do is make the call that so many others have made. If you have a current pest control company and you're dissatisfied, or you don't currently have coverage, friends, it's time to get it with U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest is simply the best. They love the United States of America, and they hate bugs. You can call them today at 590-1260. That's 615-590-1260, or online at uspesta.com. And when you do me the favor of telling them that you heard about them on the Matt Murphy Show. It's the one and only U.S. Pest.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, an elderly man's family says his final deed was trying to help someone. We'll tell you about it at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There's Ken Weaver over in News Closet B. Louie behind the glass. Matt Murphy in the chair in front of the microphone. Jay St. Clair's on the phones as he is traveling right now. We got a couple of folks who have calls in for Jay. We'll get to those momentarily. If you've got a question or a comment from the Super Text perspective, by all means, get it in here. Jay, you must struggle being right all the time. You know that. Anyway, so I finally pulled it up.
Matt, I'm often wrong, but never in doubt.
So here's the language, and obviously this is language that now has, those brackets around it because it's kind of excluded from the current text because it no longer applies because of further amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th. But it says representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states, which may be included within the Union, according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons.
The whole number of free persons.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we start.
Mm-hmm.
All free persons, whatever that means.
Including those bound to service for a term of years, because at that time, servitude
Indentured service.
was a thing.
Service.
Right. And excluding Indians. This is my favorite part, by the way. Not taxed.
Not taxed.
3/5 of all other persons. All other persons instead. Yes. And so you're exactly.
They didn't say slaves. They didn't say slaves.
Right.
They just said not free.
Right.
They were embarrassed to say slaves,
even at the time.
So if you're not free, then you're an other person.
Right. So they had other persons. And then as a subdivision, they talked about Indians, not taxed. And then, but then for our
slaves,
free persons, and for our purpose. So your point, well taken, is they could have said free citizens and then talked about the slaves, but they didn't.
That's right.
They said free persons.
That's right.
And then talked.
And they were very deliberate about picking words. So what I predict the Supreme Court will do, Matt, is they will go back in history and find historical documents and try to determine what they meant by that word, and that's what they will say it means.
Right. And if if America has changed to the point that we feel that illegal immigration has altered our census counts and is altering our representation in Congress. Even if the Supreme Court says, well, no, it says what it says in the Constitution. Well, there's a remedy. It's called an amendatory process, and we just have to amend the Constitution at that point if that's what America wants to do.
That's right.
Lots of folks want to get in here with Jay St. Clair. Let's talk with, I got Jay locked in there, Nick, who is first up for Jay. Hey, Nick, what's going on?
Angela Clay and her two.
Uh-oh. Hey, Nick, you there? Nicholas. Well, dadgum, I think we had Nick. Nick, you there? All right, I'm going to put Nick back on hold. I think Nick has a question for Jay, but he's just not responsive there. Robert, what about you?
I've got a question about hospital billing.
Okay.
That they turned over to a collection agency.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I've got Blue Cross and Medicare. And what happened is that they billed Blue Cross and they did not bill Medicare in the time elapsed that Medicare is responsible for, and they want me to pay it when it's faulty bookkeeping on their part.
Right.
I've ignored the calls from the collection agency. I've not opened any of the messages that they said, touch this. I have not done that.
Right.
How am I responsible?
How much money is it?
About $2,800.
I would get in touch with them. I get it, but they're going to keep hounding you. It's probably already on your credit report. You may not care about that, but I would get in touch with them, and I would send them a letter. Are they sending you letters? Are they
not
communicating
yet. I don't
with
think
you by letter?
The collection agency apparently does not know where I live.
Right.
And
Well, yeah, of course, they've already turned it over to the collection agency.
The hospital billing is probably done in Indonesia or India or somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you got two choices. Here are your two choices. One is continue doing what you're doing. Just kind of ignoring them, stiff arming them.
Right.
Maybe they'll go away for $2,800. I don't know. And in the meantime, it's going to get on your credit report. And maybe that's not important to you. It's not important to me. I will never use credit again in my life. But that's just something to consider. Then they may eventually sue you for $2,800, and then they'll have to come. You live in the Nashville area?
Outside of Dayton County. Yes.
Yep. Right. So they'll have to sue you. They'll probably sue you in General Sessions Court, and then you just show up in court and have all your paperwork with you and show the judge why you're not responsible for that. You can just sit back and wait to get sued. That's door number one. Door number two is to write the credit agency, explain to them why you don't owe anything. I don't know that that'll change their mind, because they get paid to collect the money. But at least then you got a paper trail so that when they do sue you, you can say, look, I sent them all this, Judge, and it showed them how I didn't know the money and they still came after me. So that's your two choices. If it were me, I would send them a letter. If you have some address to get in touch with them, because I just would rather get ahead of stuff than sit back and wait for them to sue me. But that's not a bad plan. That's not a bad plan.
I appreciate the information.
Thank you much, Robert. Thank you very much. Hope that all that works out for you. That's Robert on the line. There you go. 615-737-9986. We'll get back to Jay in just a moment. Your calls and your questions, a lot of them coming in on the Super Text line as expected. And we'll get to every single one of them 31 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.4:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Just got a news alert. This is from Fox News. There is an active shooter reported on the campus of Emory University in Georgia. Looks like the Montana manhunt for the Owl Bar killer is over. Reports say 45-year-old Army veteran Michael Brown is in custody. He's been on the run since police say he shot and killed 4 people at the Owl Bar in Anaconda, Montana, 7 days ago. And here in Middle Tennessee, an elderly man's family says his final deed was trying to help someone. 86-year-old Jerry Smotherman was struck and killed on Shelbyville Highway near Christiana this morning while he was trying to help victims of another crash. That crash shut down the road for hours. One of those stuck in traffic was Karen Davis, who tells Channel 4 she's saddened to hear someone has died, but she's not shocked.
Just drive the speed limit. I mean, it's everybody's safety. So, and I mean, like I said, my son goes to that school right there, and the people who don't do the speed limit, they drive me nuts. Because I'm like, that's my kid. So, and it's other people's kids, too.
Yeah, the driver of the Malibu that struck Smotherman is not expected to face charges. Elsewhere in Tennessee, a man convicted of Holly Bobo's death will stay in prison. While Jason Autry had previously served an 8-year sentence for his role in the case, he was released in 2020, but rearrested shortly after for federal firearms offenses. He was sentenced to 19 years in federal prison for being a felon in possession of firearms and ammunition, and that sentence was just upheld by an appeals court. The court emphasized that Autry had a serious criminal history, including assault, drug trafficking, and membership in a white supremacist gang. And President Trump says he'll meet very shortly with his Russian counterpart. Here's Stephen Portnoy.
President Trump says he'll go ahead and meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin before any sit-down that includes the leader of Ukraine. Trump said to end the war, both sides will have to relinquish land.
There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
He made the announcement as he hosted the leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia for the signing of an agreement aimed at settling decades of cross-border tensions. Both of his guests glowingly said they'd sponsor Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. 3 crashes right now on I-40, so let's go down the list. In Wilson County, got a crash 40 eastbound before Linwood Road. In Hickman County, Dixon, an earlier bus fire still being cleaned up. Crews having to block the right lane to do it, 40 eastbound past Centerville-Dixon Highway 48. Also, over by the airport, got a stalled vehicle, the right shoulder block there, 40 westbound before exit 216A. I-24 issues out there in Jolton. Got a crash reported by police eastbound past New Hope Road. And then in Montgomery County, TDOT says there's an injury crash 24 eastbound at the Clarksville-Trenton Highway 48, exit 1. And then I-65, Talbot's Corner, a crash. Police say it's 65 northbound at I-24 downtown. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy for our friends at USS. That stands for United Structural Systems. Let's talk about this for a moment. The biggest expense that most of us will ever have in our lives is our home, one-time expense, right? And the home's very important. Obviously, the foundation of your home is probably the most important aspect of it, because without the foundation, everything else, kind of crumbles. Well, if you've had foundation issues, if you've had settling, and you don't believe that that settling is going to be stable in its nature, or if you don't know whether or not it is, you need an expert. You need USS. Whether it's foundation issues like cracking or stair-step cracks in the mortar joints, or perhaps you've noticed a moldy smell in the building, a moldy smell in your basement or crawl space, it's time to get USS on the job and on the team. Homeowners simply trust USS. They've been keeping homes stable and dry since 1994 with 30,000 qualified, satisfied folks that have gotten USS on their team and gotten the job done. So give them a call at 615-488-7855, 488-7855, and you can become the next happy customer from USS online at USSTN.com. Man, you know the worst part about this shoulder surgery I've had is having to type with one hand. Boy, it's a pain. Boy, it's a pain. I wonder if I'm going to be able to throw dice with one hand. I wonder if I could throw dice with one hand. I hope so. Well, I mean, really, they make you throw dice with one hand now that I think about it. I mean, Jay, you know Jay.
And no fiddling forward.
No
don't
fiddling forward. Louie, don't fiddle forward. Have you ever been on Louie, you ever been on craps table?
I've been a couple times.
Don't fiddle forward. They get mad at you. Jay and I can tell you that story. They get frustrated with you when you fiddle forward. Jay, lots of questions, lots of conversation going on, and I want to get back to it immediately. You sound like you're in a good place there. I looked at that storm. That's some heavy rain you're walking through or driving through.
It was a gully washer.
Yeah, man, a frog strangler.
Yeah, it's gone through me now, so we're good.
All right, let me get to. I always give callers a free pass, and so I'll get to super texters here in a minute. But Kim is in Middle Tennessee, has a comment or a question for Jay. Hey, Kim. Hey, Kim, you there? Well, I feel like you're there, Kim. I'm going to put you back on hold, Kim. I don't want you to. Hey, Kim. All right, Kim's there.
Talking to me?
No, I'm talking to you now, though, Tony, because Kim wouldn't answer me.
Oh, okay.
What's up,
I
buddy?
thought you was calling me the wrong name.
No, man, I got you. You're on with Jay St. Clair. What's up?
Oh, man, everything good, man. I'm out here trying to make some money for my wife.
Well, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
But what I was calling about is, just right quick, the other guy that called in about Will Levis, it's a lot of bad plays that Will Levis made that had nothing to do with offensive line play.
Tony, are you calling the right radio station? Tony, I don't think you're calling the right radio station.
I hear you, man. But what I was calling about is that, again, my opinion, is that I felt like that we chose the wrong quarterback because numbers don't lie. I'm just saying now. I'm gonna put these numbers out here to you, and you
lay
them down.
Lay those numbers down on us, Tony. You do it.
Okay. Cam Ward passed for 4,300 and some change.
Tony.
Sanders passed for 4,100 and some change.
Uh-huh.
Cam Ward had 7 interceptions. Sanders had 10. Cam Ward was 67%. Sanders was 74%.
Lay it down, Tony.
The last two numbers were really is really convincing.
Tony
only got sacked 22 times.
Uh-huh.
Sanders got sacked 42 times.
So you're saying that Cam Ward was better than Sanders?
No, I'm saying Sanders is better than Cam Ward.
That's what I thought you were saying. Tony,
right.
you have convinced me. I completely withdraw whatever we said earlier.
But could they run the IRS?
I think. Jay, are you still there?
I'm here.
Hey, Jay. I think Tony thought he was calling the sports station. He did. I mean, in fact, I know that Tony thought he was calling the sports station. Yeah. And he was in the middle of a hot debate about, I guess he's saying Shadur Sanders is better than Cam Ward. So I'm going to have to agree with him, Jay. What do you say about all that?
I don't know who either one of those people are.
I love you, brother.
I don't know who this Sweeney lady is.
I love you, brother. Oh, well, you need to get to know Sydney Sweeney, Jay.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Well, all I know is she's got some clothes on that don't seem to fit. They seem a little bit too small for her.
Loose.
They're not loose. They're not loose. That is one of the best callers that we've ever had.
That was great.
Is Tony. Tony he's all about it. Somebody wants to know what fiddling forward is. Well, I'll explain that later on. But first, I want to get to more legal questions with Kim. Hopefully, Kim is back. Hey, Kim, are you there? Well, gosh.
Could it be Deborah?
Well, it said Kim, but you can be Deborah. Sure.
Okay.
All right. Hey,
Thank you.
Hey, Deborah,
Hi.
you're on with Jay St. Clair. Do you want to talk football or you want to talk with Jay?
Well, not football, no.
Okay.
So, real quick, on the last caller about the Medicare question, I'm a Medicare broker here in the area, and we didn't ask him whether he has a Blue Cross supplement or a Blue Cross Advantage plan. If it's an Advantage plan, he could owe co-pays and co-insurance, so he needs to confirm which Blue Cross he's got. And if it's a supplement, he could owe a $250 deductible. But my other question was, you were talking about persons, and they did the Constitution. Were they also counting women and American Indians as persons, or were they only counting males?
Yep, and see, and I don't know that. My guess is they were counting everybody. Now, Indians, it's only if they're taxed.
Oh, Indians, if taxed.
Special treatment. Indians are treated differently.
Right.
But it's a great question. See, let's go back to the 1800 census or the 1810 census and see who they counted. And my guess is that they counted women. I'm just absolutely certain about that.
Yeah, I am too.
Well, I have a high degree of confidence that they counted women.
So even though women couldn't vote, they were still counted?
I believe so, but
children. Well, we count. I would argue this. We count children.
I predict this. In about 6 months, we're going to know more about the 1810 census than we ever thought we would know.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I'm going to move. Deborah, thank you for the call. I appreciate it very much. The thought occurs to me, Jay, that the census counts children before they reach an age where they're allowed to vote.
Well, they do now. They do now. The question is, what do they do in the beginning?
Well, my point is there are several people that are arguing that only individuals that are eligible to vote should be counted in the census, and I would that's not.
I don't know where you get. I don't know how you get that out of the Constitution.
I think they're just two separate things.
Well, people that are saying that, they're saying that's what the law should be. They're not saying that that's what the law is.
Right. I would make an argument that we've reached a point in our societal dynamic that I don't think those that are here illegally that circumvented the system should be counted or should count toward representation. But just because I believe that doesn't mean that that's what the Constitution says about it. And that.
Yeah, or that we can get there. What does it take? 3/4 of the state, man?
I think so. I think that's right. 38. Yeah. 38 out of 50. Yeah.
And, I wonder if there are 38 states that would vote for that.
Boy, I don't think there are, Jay. I don't think they are. I just don't think they are. Well, the funny thing is, this Texas redistricting thing. Part of the humor that I take out of it is that there are states that have been doing this gerrymandering deal for a long time, like Massachusetts. Yeah. Did you see the goobers in Massachusetts? They came out.
Well, we're gonna fight fire with fire. Well, they don't have any Republican congressmen.
No,
they've already gerrymandered them out.
36, I think almost 37% of that state voted for Donald Trump last year. Not a single representative in the halls of Congress is a Republican. So
the Republicans don't have to worry about retaliation because they've already gerrymandered out.
Which is why I think they're howling so much, frankly. Yeah. All right, let's get to a few more calls while we if you want to call in, 615-737-9986. Ever since they changed our text color, it's been slower for some reason. Okay, Jay, I have a friend of mine that bought a vehicle from a dealership 6 days ago, and the wheel fell off, and he almost got in a major accident. Wow. The dealership is telling him that they're not going to pay for repairs or compensate him at all. Wow. What recourse does he have?
Well, he can sue them. That's one thing he can do. He can also invoke the lemon law, man, where you actually in Tennessee you have up to a year where you can force the dealership to buy the car back. So the first thing the guy's got to decide is whether he wants to keep the car or not. My word, if it's got that problem, there's no telling what else he's got. Mm-hmm. So his choices are to sue him, and that's not hard to do, or to make him buy the car back.
Excellent advice.
And he's just got to decide, do you want to keep the car or not?
Jay from 5579. Jay, my granddaughter was recently killed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear this. Wow. In a head-on collision by someone illegally in the country in Colorado. The guy's in jail. My son is too distraught to give me details.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just, how do I keep up with the court process? And so I guess this person is asking, it's a very intimate question. I didn't realize it was this intimate. I sometimes hit on these things. So this gentleman's asking how he's in Tennessee. All of this happened in Colorado. What would be your advice on how to get information about it?
Most court stuff is online. What he needs to do is find out who the prosecutor is. That's the best way. And just to open up a line of communication with the prosecutor, Matt, he just needs to find out what jurisdiction is it in, who is the prosecutor. And he can probably do that just by reading in the newspaper. They'll say who's charging him.
Right.
And then I would call the prosecutor's office. Those people generally are very, very friendly and helpful to victims. And so that's my advice on that.
Yeah, and I'm so sad to hear about your family's loss. That's awful.
That's all.
Before we get back to calls, 5612. Jay, in honor of this weekend's investment symposium, that's what I've been telling folks, is that we're going out to an investment symposium. What is the safest bet at the craps table? Your favorite bet, which I think those are two different things, by the way, but...
Yeah, well, it's the pass line bet. I mean, the basic bet, and then back it up with as much odds as you want to. The best bet at the craps table is the odds bet on a pass line bet, because they pay you the true odds. There is zero house advantage on that bet. And so you want as much in odds as you can get. And odds means that they pay you the true odds. If the odds are 2-1, that you'll throw a 7 before you throw a 4 or 10. So if you throw a 10 or a 4 and you bet $100, they'll pay you $200. That's my best bet in the casino.
And your Jay, your favorite bet, and I'm gonna amend this question with.
Well, I think I know what. Am I sober or not? That's exactly what you were going to say.
We've known each other a long time.
Because if I'm sober, it's a pass line bet.
Let me tell you.
If I'm a little bit tipsy, it's a hard 10.
Jay will look at me. We'll walk up to the table and say, keep me off those hard ways as long as you can. And I'll say, I'll do what I can. Jay wants me to keep him off the hard ways as long as he can. But we get there eventually. We get there eventually. All right. So quick timeout and maybe one or two more on the other side. Billy and Will out of Nashville will try to get to you. It's 52 after the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Let's talk about that AC for a moment. I mean, we're in the midst of it. We're in the thick of it. Don't you think for a moment that it's going to get cooler anytime soon? It's August, people. It's August in Middle Tennessee. It will continue to be hot for the foreseeable future. And if your AC is not working properly, it's time to get with efficient heating and cooling and my man, Jeff Eddy. If you need a second opinion on something that you've been told, or if you're looking for a first opinion as to what to do with your AC, Jeff Eddy and his crew, they're going to tell you the right thing. They're going to tell you the truth about the matter the first time out. That means sometimes they have to deliver bad news. Sometimes they have to tell you that your AC is kaput and you got to get a new one. And if you've gone kaput with your AC, they have a recommendation. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They can find the right one for you and your family, and they have financing options available for you as well. But if it's not kaput, that's good news, because you can survive the latest summertime and into the winter with Jeff Eddy putting his magic on that system and making sure that he can get you through another season. Call 615-784-4424, 784-4424 for our friends at Efficient.
Got an active shooter at Emory University in Atlanta. The very latest on that coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Indeed. Ken Weaver's got you covered in the newsroom on the Emory University situation. We're going to delve into that a little bit in the 5 o'clock hour. I noticed by the clock on the wall that we've only got about a minute left with Jay St. Clair. I think it would be unfair to go to any other caller to try to squeeze one in here. But I do want to tell Jay how much I appreciate him. I don't tell you this enough, Jay. It is one of the favorite segments that we have on a weekly basis. You know how much I appreciate you as a friend, but as somebody with me on the radio, I so appreciate your acumen, your intelligence, your legal expertise. But more than any of that, I appreciate your friendship, brother.
I feel the same way, man. Thank you, brother.
And we will talk to you, I believe, probably not tonight. That might be a little past your bedtime, but I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I look forward to it.
All right, we'll see you.
See you
There's Jay St. Clair joining us. I apologize. I made him held on. I was hopeful that we would get to another caller or two. Just not enough time. Just not enough time. We will get – oh, John wanted to know who asked Jay, who hates Bama more, me or Matt? I lived amongst them for 20 years, John. I don't know that I claim to hate Bama more than Vols fans because y'all had to deal with that streak that y'all broke a couple of years ago. But let me tell you something. I think I hate the Florida Gators more than you hate the Crimson Tide. How about that? Now, that's a fairer fight. In all seriousness, we'll get to the Emory University situation. There are reports of a shooting on campus. That happened in the past hour or so. We'll get to that right now. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is 5 o'clock.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Atlanta, reports of an active shooting at Emory University. They sent an alert to students and staff warning of an active shooter on campus at the Emory Point CVS. They're telling everyone in that area to run, hide, and fight to avoid the area. Also, student Aditya Vihas lives in that building and says he was trying to go home when he got the alert.
Some of my friends, I would say like 7 or 8 of them, along with my roommate, he's in there. And I can only feel nervous right now. I can't do anything.
There was a large police presence at the scene, including numerous police vehicles. A police officer reportedly shot and transported to Grady Memorial Hospital. Looks like that Montana manhunt for the Owl Bar killer is over. Reports say 45-year-old Army veteran Michael Brown is in custody. He'd been on the run since police say he shot and killed 4 people at that Owl Bar in Anaconda 7 days ago. President Trump has removed Billy Long as the commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service less than 2 months after he was confirmed by the Senate.
The reasons for the change aren't entirely clear, but the New York Times reports that less than 2 months after being narrowly confirmed as IRS commissioner, Billy Long will leave that post to be nominated as an ambassador. During his time in the House, the then Missouri congressman pushed to abolish the tax agency, and he recently suggested its workforce needed to be purged. The White House says Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will take on the duties of acting IRS commissioner until the post is permanently filled.
President Trump nominating his top economic aide, Stephen Myron, to the Federal Reserve Board. He's going to be getting a key vote on the Federal Reserve. Just one of 12 votes, but still puts more pressure on the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell as President Trump has been escalating his attacks for not lowering interest rates. And a new Instagram feature causing some confusion and concern among users. Here's ABC's Rebecca Jarvis.
The Instagram friend map lets users share their live location with a select group of friends, rolled out this week, but it did have some users worrying about privacy and security. The head of Instagram is clarifying that you do have to opt into this feature. It will not automatically share your location. Your location will only be shared with a group that you choose.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, I'm looking at 3 or 4 issues on I-40 here. Let's start in Wilson County, where TDOT says there's a crash eastbound before exit 245. Then in Dixon, we still have the right lane blocked eastbound past Centerville-Dixon Highway 48, exit 163, for that bus that was hauling a Jeep that caught fire. And then eastbound after 840 in Dixon, we've got a crash. Also, B&A, stalled vehicle, right lane blocked, 40 westbound before B&A. Got a problem on I-24 in Smyrna. This is going eastbound, a crash there at Almaville Road. And then 440 westbound, off-ramp to Nolensville Pike. That is partially blocked by a crash. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hour number 3 happening right now. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It is 7 minutes after 5. We are officially at your weekend, and we appreciate each of you joining us. If you're just getting off of work and you're celebrating a couple of days of rest and relaxation, congratulations. You've made it. We love to remind you that there are great people in this area, great people in our state, great people in these United States of America that make our weekends what they are. I'm talking about the first responders, the police officers, the firefighters, the EMTs, all of you folks that work the weekend, like your restaurateurs, waiters, waitresses, convenience store workers. If you are a weekend warrior, I want to say a special salute to you and your family and your family's family. We appreciate you for making our weekends special like you do. I would kindly ask at this point in the proceedings that everybody that's currently on I-40 westbound to get off the interstate right now because I'm coming through in about 58 minutes.
Westbound?
Westbound. Yes, Ken Weaver, westbound. Not
Okay.
eastbound, westbound. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I'm saying that right. I'm going west. I'm headed toward.
Oh, you don't have a flight to catch.
No. I'm driving. About 3 hours and 44 minutes.
You're fine as wine to get to that economic symposium.
That's exactly right. Economic and Investment Symposium coming up this weekend.
Yes, sir.
I've got check-in at about 10:05 this evening.
Oh, you're set. Dude. You're fine.
Yeah. So just awfulness going on at Emory. Now I've got reports, Ken. I did not hear your report at the top of the hour, but I have reports of a shooter down.
I don't have a report of a shooter down. I've got a report of an officer, police officer, who was actually injured and rushed to a hospital. But the latest I've got, I do not have that the shooter is down at this time.
All right, let me give you from
that's not to say it's not happening.
Yeah, well, and that's right. I mean, obviously, look, anytime we get information at just in seconds from where it happens, wherever it happens across the globe, we live in amazing times where we find out about these things in real time. This is happening in real time at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. There is a report of a shooting on campus. This was a report that came out of ABC Channel 7 about 15 minutes ago regarding Emory University. Let's listen in.
We're following breaking news out of Atlanta, Georgia, where Emory University is reporting an active shooter on its campus. Just moments ago, the university's Office of Critical Event Preparedness and Response sending out an alert to students that read, "Run, hide, fight, avoid the area." A shelter-in-place order has also been put in place. The Atlanta Police Department is currently responding to that scene. And you're looking at a live picture right now there in Atlanta. You can see an ambulance there positioned on that corner. I want to bring in ABC's contributor and former FBI agent Brad Garrett to talk more about this. Brad, thank you for joining us. This just happening. It's a fluid situation. What can you tell us about what you've seen and heard so far about this situation there at Emory University?
So, Stephanie, it's unclear about exactly where this is. There is one bulletin that was put out that talked about Emory Point, which is where a bunch of businesses are located. I don't know if that's on campus or next to the campus.
Well, let me give Brad a little clarity here, and that's Brad Garrett and our ABC News reporter from I think it was actually ABC Live, not ABC Channel 7, although they were taking a feed from ABC 7. Emory Point, and being from Georgia, I mean, I'm not as familiar with Emory's campus as I used to be some 20 years ago or so. But Emory University, there's a place on the north end of Emory University called Emory Point that has a lot of businesses, like a lot of college campuses, just off of campus. If literally you go across the street and you're off campus, but there's a lot of business activity going on. And there's a CVS up there, and there are some reports that the shooting happened or just outside of the CVS, which would technically be just off of campus. Emory campus, the university, is just to the north of Emory University Hospital, which is a major hospital in the Atlanta area. So we have a report of the shelter in place that has been issued. We are told that rapid gunfire was heard at some point. We are told that a police officer has been shot, no word on his condition. And we're also told that the shooter, at some point, there was a report that the shooter reportedly attempted to enter that CVS that I just described it to you and somehow barricade himself inside of that building. I do have a report that a police officer has been shot, and you pray for that officer and the family of that officer. But I'm also seeing a report. Now, this is, we can only do what we can do in terms of reporting it to you as the information comes in. And I see a report where the shooter is down, but I'm also seeing other reports that it is still an active scene in an active shooting situation. So we'll try to give you as much information as we possibly can regarding that. But just once again, it is a breaking news story involving Emory University, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. And there is a report that an officer has been shot. There's been shooting just off the campus of Emory University. I'm just looking to see if there's anything breaking here that we need to know. We'll just continue to follow the situation and report back to you. But there is a report of a shooting on campus. And we're just waiting to get more information, if more information is forthcoming, at 13 minutes after the hour. In the meantime, we discussed the death of Byron Black. Justice served in that case. If you were unfamiliar with it, the state of Tennessee put Byron Black to death as a result of his killing of 3 people, his estranged girlfriend, and her 2 young children, ages 9 and 6. I'm far more concerned about the death of those 3 individuals than I am about the death of Byron Black. But the Tennessee Attorney General, Jonathan Skrmetti, has taken to social media to give an update on aspects of some reporting regarding the death of Byron Black. The state of Tennessee put Black to death using phenobarbital for his lethal injection. And Byron Black's, you might recall, his attorneys, this is fascinating to me. So this guy's on death row for the killing of 3 people, a mother and her 2 children, in just a most heinous and brutal fashion. Just a disgusting murder. And while he denied culpability, a jury in good standing with this state, a jury of his peers, determined him to be guilty, and ultimately he was sentenced to death. And that death sentence has now been carried out. But in the meantime, Byron Black was given a pacemaker. He was given a defibrillator, an internal defibrillator, like a pacemaker, that initially was going to be turned off prior to his execution. Because the idea is that pacemaker, the entire goal of that internal defibrillator, and I might be saying pacemaker, I mean, if I'm getting the medical term wrong, I apologize, but I think for the most part, y'all understand what I'm saying, is that he had an internal device that would keep his heart going. And the fear was that once he was put to death, that material would try to bring him back to life actively. Well, initially, Byron Black's lawyer accused the state of allowing that to happen and claimed that the defibrillator shocked him in an attempt to bring him back after the state put him to death. Jonathan Skrmetti is putting that rumor, that issue to bed with a statement that he's made. So his attorneys, Byron Black's attorneys, tried to keep him away from the death chamber by saying, well, you've got to shut this thing down. And then it was argued that it would be cruel or inhumane to shut it down. I mean, it's just such ridiculousness. Just put the man to death. He's been sentenced. Jonathan Skrmetti has offered a press release that reads as follows. Byron Black's lawyer now admits that his defibrillator did not shock him at all during his execution, just as the state's medical expert predicted, and entirely contrary to the confident prediction, that is, of Black's experts. And while Black's attorney now criticizes the use of phenobarbital for his lethal injection, Black previously sued demanding phenobarbital and stated in a court filing that phenobarbital, quote, significantly reduced the substantial risk of serious pain presented by other drugs. Every American has the right to their own opinion about the death penalty, but courts rely on actual facts and actual law, not theatrics and passion. Black filed a dozen separate legal challenges to avoid his sentence. Every one of them failed. Byron Black's execution was entirely legal. I appreciate the Attorney General's pithy response to some of the accusations, and I appreciate him doing the job as demanded by the people that he represents, the people of the state of Tennessee. And I wish for our friends in the leftist media, the liberal media, I only wish that you would spend just a moment of time while talking about Byron Black and talking about his rights and his right to a fair and speedy trial, and his right to a fair and speedy appeal, and his right to this, and his right to that, and his right to an execution that is without pain. I read probably no less than 4 separate accounts on a variety of media sources over the last week about, how Byron Black, he moaned or he sighed or he did this or he did that prior to his ultimate execution. And that he cried that it hurts or something or another. I mean, he apparently said something along those lines prior to expiring from this earth. To which I say, I don't care. I sincerely do not care. I understand that the state has to be better than the perpetrator. I understand, some people say, you ought to kill him the way he killed his people. No, we're not going to do that. I mean, come on. We're better than the murderer. But I sincerely do not care if there was a momentary sense of pain that Byron Black experienced prior to his execution. You know what I care a lot more about? The pain that he inflicted upon 3 human beings, innocent human beings. Broke into his ex-girlfriend's house, killed her, dead, shot her 2 kids, killed them dead. A 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. They had their lives ahead of them. This ridiculous focus on whatever momentary pain might have been incurred. I mean, my goodness gracious, we as a society bend over backwards to make execution as seamless and as painless as possible. And I understand if you're listening to me and you're against the death penalty. I sometimes struggle with it because as a libertarian, I don't like the idea of the state having that ultimate authority. But when I find myself in those times of struggle, I go back and I read some of the stories about the people that have been brutalized, murdered at the hands of these individuals, the most heinous of crimes. And I am comforted. While I understand that in our past, in our justice system, that perhaps people have been put to death and there's a little bit of a question as to the efficacy of the information or the evidence presented, we live in a day and age where there should be zero question, and truly is, in an era of DNA evidence, in an era of, I mean, you talk about video surveillance on a regular basis and DNA evidence and the amount of forensic evidence that is involved in a capital murder crime of this sort. No, I don't lose a moment's sleep over the death of Byron Black, whether he cried out in pain or not. It's 21 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Let's talk for a moment, gentlemen, because, it's for you. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is there for you. They want to help you. They have now 2 locations to serve you. Their Midtown location, busy, but now they have opened up a new shop in Cool Springs. They're ready for you folks south of the city to get in and get past the issues that you face when it comes to energy levels or bedroom activities. That's right. They understand that, every guy has a time in his life, or at least most guys have times in their lives where they can't perform in a fashion that they want to perform. And look, there's no shame in this game. Let's get with the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Let's talk to one of the urologists. They're going to get you back into the game, men, by prescribing you a plan of action, a plan of success. They can only do that after they give you an examination. You'll have results the same day, and they can get you back on the court, or back on the field, back in the game, as they say, at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or call them at 615-208-9090, 208-9090. Schedule that appointment to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy for Premier Generators. I was out with Sean earlier this week. Sean was on site of an installation out in Franklin, and I was so happy to be there to watch as the installation occurred. And look, I learned a lot about Premier Generators and their home generator system, how easy it is to install, why every homeowner should consider a backup generator in their home. I mean, it truly is an insurance policy for your home. You do this for your car. You do this for, health. Why wouldn't you do this for your home? I mean, there are risk factors of not having a generator during a power outage. Spoiled food, frozen pipes, lost communication, added stress. But the biggest one, feeling unprepared when your family needs you most. You need that preparation in your life. We believe in helping people avoid that unfortunate moment. It's all about making sure that you're prepared. Go to premiergenerators.com to find out more information, premiergenerators.com. And today, you can get a 10-year warranty on Premier Generators, Generac generators. That's a pretty cool deal. You need to call 855-POWER is on, 855-PWR-ISON, 855-797-4766 for our friends at Premier Generators. Once again, premiergenerators.com.
Emory University in Atlanta, the scene of the latest active shooter. We've got that story and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yes, we've got the latest news on that front. And I've got some breaking news out of Washington, D.C. as well. Donald Trump has just announced that he will be sitting down and meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin personally in Alaska next Friday.
Yes, sir.
1 week from today. So, yeah, look, Donald Trump has consistently said that he wants to stop the killing with regard to Ukraine and Russia. And I believe, I understand that our liberal friends who just hate everything about Trump, hate the orange guy, they try to, they get all excited when something doesn't happen that Trump thinks can happen. And Donald Trump, I believe rightly said that none of this would have been happening had he been president of the United States. And I believe that. But Donald Trump also said that he would end the war on day one. I think he believed that. I think that Donald Trump believed that he had the ability, if these two, and this is the big caveat that we never got around to, but if they are interested in coming to a peace, that he could bring Volodymyr Zelensky and Vladimir Putin together and get to a peace. Well, what Trump has learned in his effort to negotiate this peace is that Zelensky seems to want it, and Putin seems to not. And because of that, we've not gotten there. And slowly but surely, and no one on #NeverCNN or on MSNBC or ABC or CBS or NBC or any of the alphabet soup networks, nobody at the Washington Post or the New York Times, they're not going to give him credit for this. Donald Trump has moved his position on this issue, and he deserves credit. He came to the table as a neutral arbiter. He wanted to negotiate a deal to end the killing. That was his goal. But now he recognizes that one person is just going to lie to him consistently and not tell him the truth about the matter, and so he has repositioned himself, and that is Vladimir Putin. The same guy that all these liberal media outlets claimed he was in bed with for so long, which was a load of Bravo Sierra from the beginning. And so now, as a consequence, Donald Trump is saying, no, I'm going to, we need to have a conversation because I'm going to lay the hammer down. And initially, he gave the man 50 days. And he said, look, if you don't figure it out in 50 days, we're laying down the hammer. And these aren't Joe Biden-type sanctions. This is the real deal coming at you. Well, I guess 50 days was a little too long, and Vladimir Putin just kept killing people and goes, okay, 50 days just became 2 weeks, and now he wants to meet with Vladimir Putin, and I think clearly illustrate his intention to get this killing to stop one way or the other. I applaud him. I think it's fabulous, and hopefully we'll see an end to that conflict as soon as humanly possible. I don't know. What I do not want and what I do not believe the American people would put up with, and I don't think that it is in the cards, is an engagement that involves the United States military. It was always my concern under Joe Biden that we were seeing mission creep, and that mission creep would eventually lead to, sadly, that mission creep would lead to American involvement, direct American involvement, not just monetary involvement or material involvement, but boots on the ground. It's the last thing we want. I don't think the American people want it. I don't think Donald Trump is interested in it. But we can use American leverage to our advantage to get what we want in that regard. In the meantime, lots of you on the Super Text line. You can get on the phone lines as well. We got Ninkham in the news coming up in just a couple of minutes. A lot of response to my rant about Byron Black. Byron Black stayed on death row for the better part of 30 years. The family of the fallen, the family of the slain people and those sweet babies had to sit and recognize that he continued to live a life, should have been sentenced or should have been carried out way sooner. I would agree with that 100%. The loss of life is not pretty, ever, even when it is just and even when it is justice. So to hell with Byron Black's feelings. To hell with – look, it takes – it is unimaginable for most of us, the idea that you would take another life even when not threatened. And based on that, I just don't have any, I have no thoughts about the feelings of Byron Black except to say that I'm glad he's no longer on this earth and he will get his ultimate justice in another life, not on this one. It is 5:31, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Emory University in Atlanta on lockdown, sending out an alert to students and staff about an active shooter at the Emory Point CVS on campus, telling everyone in the area to run, hide, and fight, and to avoid the area. Student Aditya Vihas lives in that building and says he was trying to go home when he got the alert.
I was just getting some groceries and getting some stuff from Walmart. And when I came back here, I did not realize what happened. And then suddenly I got an email and like the message from Emory campus saying that there's an active shooter.
Yeah, a police officer reportedly shot and rushed to a Grady Memorial Hospital there. President Trump says he will be meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska next Friday for talks on ending the Ukraine war. Trump said to end the war, both sides are going to have to relinquish land.
There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
Further details, logistics of the meeting, including whether Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will be involved, are still unclear. Wendy's is the latest fast food chain claiming a decline in consumer demand, especially among customers with lower incomes who are more susceptible to economic pressures. In its QT 2025 earnings report, Wendy's reported a 3.6% decline in sales and revised its full-year global sales outlook to a decrease between 3% and 5%. Fast food prices have surged in recent years, outpacing overall inflation. And consumers are cutting back on discretionary spending, including eating out at fast food restaurants, according to studies like one at Bankrate. And a new Instagram feature causing some confusion and concern among users. Here's Rebecca Jarvis.
The Instagram Friend Map lets users share their live location with a select group of friends, rolled out this week, but it did have some users worrying about privacy and security. The head of Instagram is clarifying that you do have to opt into this feature. It will not automatically share your location.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, I-40 seems to be a point of contention in traffic today. Let's start over here by the airport. We've got a right lane blocked by a stalled vehicle, 40 westbound before exit 216A. Then in Dixon County, we've got a crash reported by TDOT. That'll be eastbound after I-840. Wilson County, TDOT says they just cleared a crash, 40 eastbound before Linwood Road, so that's good news. But back to Hickman County, where there was a bus fire earlier today. Right lane is still blocked there, 40 eastbound past exit 163. Crews are trying to clean that up, and they need that right lane in order to do it. And then in Smyrna, Rutherford County got a crash reported by TDOT 24 eastbound just past Almaville Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. You know, Dickens is simply the best when it comes to all things, all things your garden, all things your lawn, all things your landscape, all things your turf. They have locations in Nashville, Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Brentwood, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. And at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, they are your local source for fertilizers, weed control, insecticide, and lawn equipment. They beat the big box store prices, and they have better products and more knowledge. I mean, folks, you walk into a big box store, you don't know if you're talking to somebody knowledgeable at all. And if you don't know what you're doing, or if you have a question or two, you need to go to experts that understand it. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a homeowner seeking advice, they're your one-stop shop for parts, products, and supplies. Go where the pros go. And the pros go to Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. If you're looking for quality parts, products, and the best advice around, 7 convenient locations. I just listed them out for you. You're never too far away from Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Visit them online at DickensSupply.com. Once again, DickensSupply.com. Hey, folks, it's Matt Murphy, and allow me to spend a moment talking to you about diamonds, sparkly things. You know what I'm talking about? Genesis Diamonds, boy, they know what they're talking about when it comes to diamonds. They go to the ends of the earth to find the best of diamonds around. You know, they might look at 100 diamonds at the cutters and pick just 6 or 8 of them to bring home back to their showroom, because they want to make sure that every diamond not only has a certain sparkle and brilliance, but it has that extra something. They want to make it not just acceptable, but extraordinary. The experts at Genesis Diamonds are passionate about diamonds, and they will show you all of the inside tips and tricks of the trade as well. Ovals, rounds, princess cuts, heart-shaped, pear-shaped. They have a half a carat diamond, and they have a 20-carat diamond in the showroom. I don't even know if I've ever seen a 20-carat diamond, but they've got them at Genesis Diamonds. It's a no-brainer. They're the source for all things diamonds in this community. No compromises, friends. Best possible price, best possible selection. It's all at Genesis Diamonds. 2 locations, Green Hills and Cool Springs. When you stop in, tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Genesis Diamonds. So Ninkham Poops in the news is on the way. It is mano a mano today there, Ken Weaver. Young Louie is doing a great job behind the glass. I mean, he's doing a fabulous job. The man has performed. Let me tell you something, Louie, and I'm not just buttering your bread, buddy. You have performed flawlessly, and you've done this entire show blindfolded. And people don't understand that you've done the show blindfolded, but I do, and I appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate that.
You're doing a great job. But I thought it was too much to ask of Louie to have to come up with a nincompoop on the fly as well. So we do a little segment called Nincompoops in the News. I'll get to it in a second. But I do want to. So we had, Ken, remember we had the caller Tony?
Yes, sir.
During Jay's segment?
Yeah.
Tony was very concerned about the foosball.
Right. Football.
And he called in and was comparing and contrasting the performance of Cam Ward. I suppose this was Miami stats and Shedeur Sanders. And I guess Tony was suggesting that Shedeur is a better quarterback than Cam or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
I think so. So 0152 has written in and said, concerning Tony, who called in with the sports question during Friday, I'm wondering if there was a call at the same time to the sports station, and that caller had a legal question. Well, Ken, there was.
Really?
So, you know Mike from Old Hickory?
Yes.
Who calls us on the regular?
Wow, they got Mike?
They got Mike. So listen, for those who don't know, to pull back the curtain, you know, we're over here in Political Corner at Super Talk, and right across the way from us is the palatial studio of the sports station, 104.5 The Zone. And let me tell you, Ken has some mighty fine confines back there in News Closet B. We're not ashamed of the little studio that we have here at Super Talk, nor the little control area. But if you come up to the station anytime, you tour our little corner of the world, and then go into the sports station, and you tell me who Mama down the hall likes better. Ken, did you have any brothers? You have brothers and sisters, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm the oldest, so.
Oh, so did you get the biggest room?
Well, no, all our rooms were the same pretty much, but I had to share it with my little brother.
Oh, that's too bad. You beat him up?
He claims I did.
You know, my big brother beat me up too, and he denies it too. You big brothers are all alike. You got any brothers or sisters, Louie?
I got a little brother and an older brother.
Did your older brother ever whoop on you?
Nah.
You didn't let it?
Nah,
you didn't let it happen?
It ain't never happened.
Did you ever whoop on your younger brother?
Nah, but I'll whoop on my older brother, though. Me and my younger brother, we get along real good.
My brother would beat Stu out of me. He's 2.5 years older than me, and he beat Stu out of me. And I finally had enough of it one day. And to this day, if I brought Brian into this studio, he is a 54-year-old man, and he will deny this to this day.
Yeah.
I finally had enough of it, and I popped him in the head with a baseball bat, and he went down like a sack of potatoes. I was real choked up on the bat. There wasn't a lot of it on top, so I just kind of gave him a little bip, boop, and he went down like a sack of taters. And I was worried because we were supposed to take vacation the next week to Callaway Gardens, and I was worried we'd get in trouble and wouldn't get to go to Callaway Gardens.
You weren't going to be able to go.
And Brian had this big old swelled knot on his head, and to this day he says I was just joking.
I didn't mean it.
I was like, that knot doesn't tell me that you were just joking. Anyway, all that to say, big brother's across the hall, and little brother, we're just over here making all the money, and they get all the results. Anyway. So, point being, while we had the call from Tony, Mike from Old Hickory calls him, and I go down the hall, and I was like, Ron Slay of 3HL told me about it, and he's like, does that dude call you regularly? And I said, yeah. He said, I almost lost my mind.
He was on with Ron Slay.
He was on with Brent and Don and Slay.
I bet you Slay had a blast with him, man.
You know what I told? I couldn't help myself. I was like, now you know why they pay me so much, Slay, because I have to put up with people like that. And I was like, oh, by the way, Tony wasn't making any sense either. He was saying Shedeur Sanders is better than Cam Ward. He said, Tony don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I think Cam Ward's better than Shedeur Sanders.
100%. I mean, come on. Shedeur Sanders is going to be lucky to make the Cleveland Browns. And
yeah, boy, that's going to be rough.
And they got like 7 quarterbacks, Ken.
Yeah. Well, don't they? They've got Deshaun Watson, don't they?
He's hurt.
Oh, he's hurt.
Oh, yeah. They're not playing him because if they don't, whether he's hurt or not, Ken, I heard this. Don't take me at my word because I might be lying to you, but I think this is right. That if the Browns, if he is, quote unquote, hurt this year,
yeah,
they cash in on a $44 million insurance policy.
Wow.
And so I suppose they can apply that to the what? What do you get, like $200 million guaranteed money or something? It's ridiculous. Cleveland Browns are not a very smart organization.
No, just ask pretty much every quarterback that's gone through there, man. Baker Mayfield didn't. He'll tell you.
No. And look at what happened. Baker Mayfield goes through there, fails, goes to Tampa Bay, and is doing great.
Yeah.
Well, It just goes to show you there's something to be said. Well, I mean, there's not a lot of good things being said about our organization right now.
Well, I think we got a good quarterback. I think Cam Ward, I think he was a great pickup.
Listen,
I mean, not just because of his athletic ability, but just he's a humble young man.
Seems
like a hard worker, man.
100%. 100%. Right before we get to Nincompoops, 1825 says, Briley Parkway, mile marker 10, a large ladder in the middle lane. Someone
Good grief.
Apparently, someone wandered from Interstate 24 going to Murfreesboro. You might want to advise. Anyway,
I believe it.
Yeah, so there's a large ladder in the middle lane.
It came off a truck with a Rutherford County on the tag.
Probably so. Just beyond the bolo, big old ladder in the middle of the road on Briley Parkway. All right, there, Louie. Let's hit the button. It is time for Ken Weaver and I to play Nincompoops in the News. And so it is. Mano a mano. Weaver v. Murphy.
Yes, sir.
For all of the marbles, for all of the weekend glory.
Yes, sir.
Ken Weaver, if you win Nincompoops in the day, I authorize you to drink a delicious tin of whiskey porter this weekend.
Oh, you got it, brother.
All right. I think I get to go first.
I think you do, too.
I think that is the case. I get to go first. I won yesterday. Mine is a tricky tale. It's a tricky saga to understand and to keep up with. And there were some attempts to kill people, but nobody was successful, so I feel comfortable in sharing this story with you. This comes to us, it happened here at Disney World, but it involves an individual by the name of Mark Gibbon. Mark Gibbon has been known as the lighting engineer to the stars, as he has put lighting up for such rock and roll performers as Mick Jagger and Ed Sheeran. Well, the 62-year-old lighting engineer to the stars has allegedly been in a relationship with his own daughter-in-law, and he's now accused of trying to drown her in a swimming pool near Disney World. Oh, it gets better. The 62-year-old was staying with family at a resort in Florida when an argument is said to have been broken out over a will.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens. Gibbon, the 62-year-old granddad from Beaconsfield, Buckinghamshire, hello, allegedly tried to push his own daughter-in-law, Jasmine Wild, 33, under the water in the pool. Now, it should be noted that apparently, unbeknownst to most of the rest of the family, at the time, Gibbon and Jasmine Wild were having a secret affair.
Oh.
Well, it gets sad because...
That's his daughter-in-law?
It's his daughter-in-law, his son's wife.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. Well, his 9-year-old granddaughter attempted to save her mother and jumped into the pool, but Gibbon pushed her away, got her out of the pool, and continued to attempt to kill his daughter-in-law.
Goodness.
It was revealed by the Daily Mail that Gibbon and Wild have been in a relationship for the last 2 years after both of their marriages broke down. Jasmine shares 2 children with Gibbon's son, Alex, who is said to be estranged from his father. Well, I didn't get to that part of the story. The father and son duo work together in a lighting company, which claims to have worked on projects such as Mick Jagger and Kylie Minogue. Family source told the Daily Mail Mark and Jasmine have been seeing each other for a few years, although they've never admitted it to family. So he tried to drown her. Thankfully, she's going to be okay. He's in the pokey, and I say he is a huge nincompoop for the whole shebang.
Yes, sir.
I mean, my goodness gracious. Next thing you know, that woman is 30 years younger than him. 30 years younger than him. Ken, the next thing you know, he's going to run for the governorship of Tennessee. And that's all I'll say about that. Weaver, you're a nincompoop, sir. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
All right,
that's just a joke. Everybody, y'all don't get mad at me. Go ahead.
This comes from the New York Post. The headline reads, "I had the worst diarrhea ever on a plane. They had to land and cancel the flight.
I just lost.
Megan Reinertsen swears she's not a monster. The blonde is simply a frequent flyer whose sudden bout with uncontrollable diarrhea allegedly caused United Airlines to call off a takeoff so that hazmat specialists could clean up her massive blow-up. Something is brewing, she remembered thinking. Something is happening that I am not prepared to deal with. She's telling this on social media, by the way. There's no shame in her game, dude.
Something's brewing.
Yeah.
Have we all not been there?
Oh,
I've been there.
Oh, and not on a plane.
Not on a plane.
Fortunately.
Yeah.
That something was food poisoning.
Oh, no.
It was a nasty, not-so-little bug she picked up after eating an undercooked hamburger the night before her flight. Luckily for Reinertsen, her rumbling belly didn't cause the plane to make an unscheduled stop. It did, however, stop her fellow passengers from using the bathroom. Amid her pooping nightmare in the cramped airplane commode, something else, quote, came up. Prompting Reinertsen to call a flight attendant for help. So after barfing in a bag provided by the cabin crew member, Reinertsen remained in the lavatory, spewing and defecating for the duration of the flight. Sadly, her misadventures didn't end there.
How do you get through this story?
She also suffered from another round of diarrhea in her hotel bed.
Oh, man.
But the shame of soiling the establishment's sheets apparently didn't compare to the embarrassment of grounding the airplane. Or it didn't stop her from going on social media and telling everybody about it.
That makes her a triple nincompoop.
Now, I am a biohazard, she self-deprecatingly teased. I am patient zero.
I guess what do you do? I mean, I guess you just feel like you got to own it. You just got to own it.
Dude, I'm telling you. I would never want that to happen on a plane.
Oh, no. I mean, no. Because you know that there are people that need to use the bathroom.
Sure.
And they know you're in there.
Right.
There's no avoiding that.
Right. Well, the plane already stinks because of everybody's coffee breath.
Oh, man. Can you imagine that getting into the forced air system?
Goodness.
So they diverted the flight. I'm a little confused what happened to the flight. She was on the flight. They didn't charge her with anything,
No,
right?
they didn't charge her with anything, and they didn't have to make like an unscheduled stop. They just had to deal with it until they got to where they were going.
Oh, my Lord. And then she got to her hotel room. And man, let me tell you, I will never stay in the Venetian again. Ken Weaver, it is the worst bout of food poisoning I've ever had in my life.
Really?
And I looked, this was probably 10 years ago. I looked at my wife.
Yeah.
It was so bad. There was a phone in the bathroom. I called her from the bathroom. And I said, I am so sorry. And she said, what? And I said, it is coming out of every orifice that I have.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you is I can't. I was like, I'm just warning you. I told her this. In all seriousness, I said, I'm warning you.
Yeah.
I can't protect you anymore. I said, if somebody came into this room, I would have to give you to them. I can't do anything about it. That's awful. Well, I'm a big loser. I don't even have to tally the votes. It's 54 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, you do have at least one detractor, Weaver, who said, "Holy hell, I was trying to eat a sandwich." Thanks, Ken. Well, I hope it's not a spoiled sandwich like her hamburger. Hey, friends, let me tell you about Stoltzco for just a moment. Custom pole barns like you've never imagined are possible for you. Stoltzco, they pride themselves on producing higher quality buildings at a reasonable price, better quality than you can imagine at a better price than you can imagine. They provide customized solutions in Middle Tennessee. They are the leading company in the creation of post-frame buildings. They take pride in providing high-quality, customized structures at reasonable prices, such as garage spaces, equestrian spaces, event spaces, pole barns, and yes, the ever-popular barn dominiums. You just need to see them to understand. They have such great work, and their team is going to be there for you. I promise you, folks, you'll love what you see at Stoltzco. Go to stoltzco.com. That's STOLTZCO.com stoltzco.com. Once again, that's stoltzco.com for more information, or call them today at 615-622-5992, 622-5992 for our friends at Stoltzco.
Got some new details on the shooting on the campus of Emory University. I'll share them with you here in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, yeah. I could have easily just let Ken Weaver do that, but look who's in the house.
What's up, buddy?
I don't think we need to say. Louis is doing a great job.
I'm sure I knew I was leaving you in capable hands with Louis.
Louis, I mean, not a screw up, Louis. Not a moment's. I mean, not a second.
It's been a smooth show.
I mean, it's been a great show.
All the screw ups came from you, correct?
I mean, maybe I screwed up a time or two in here, but I'm just not accustomed. You always tell me, oh, this is the board or this computer or that computer, and apparently Lou's not having any of those troubles.
I'm glad, man. I hope you and Louis
Where did you go and leave us?
I was hanging out with 3HL on the Zone, and we had a great show over there, just wrapped up. So I figured, why not come say what's up to old Matt Murphy?
Well, what's up?
I heard something.
What?
I heard Dr. Pepper can ain't the only thing that was opened up this hour. Heard Ken Weaver open up a can of whoop ass.
Ken opened up.
Ninkham poops.
He did. It is,
and it involved ass.
I feel like the flood of Weaver votes were similar to the flood of diarrhea that happened in that airport in that airplane bathroom.
Wait, Ken, give me a quick synopsis before we get to the news.
It's too late. It's too late. Give him a synopsis. The synopsis was this. There was poop everywhere. It was everywhere. It was everywhere.
On a plane.
It was on a plane.
And a hotel bed.
And she had it coming out of both ends. And I lost.
Before we go, can I do it?
You can do it.
It's time for the news. Let's get to Ken Weaver, Super Talk 99.7.
See y'all.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. So we got a report that the shooter is dead and a police officer is injured on the campus of Emory University, where they put out an alert today telling everybody to take shelter, run, hide, or fight if you have to. Police vehicles and armed officers seen near the Emory Point CVS Pharmacy. ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky was there. Students told through social media, run, hide, fight, but to avoid the area and continue to shelter in place. Jonathan O'Brien's a student there.
I'm speaking with people who are here on scene, and they're telling me that they are...
Well, guess we won't have that report. After closing a peace deal between Armenia and Azerbaijan this afternoon, President Donald Trump says he'll host Russian President Vladimir Putin a week from today in Alaska for talks on ending the Ukraine war.
You're losing thousands of people a week, Russians and Ukrainians mostly soldiers, but, missiles are lobbed into cities and towns, Kiev, lots of places. You've been reading the same stories that I've been reading. And we got to get it solved.
Asked by the press if this was Putin's last chance.
I don't like using the term last chance. Look, it's...
Mr. Trump said he did not care for that ultimatum. Mexico responding to reports the U.S. military will target foreign drug cartels. ABC's Inez de la Cutera has more from the foreign desk.
Mexican President Sheinbaum saying, quote, the United States is not going to come to Mexico with the military. We cooperate, we coordinate, but there won't be an invasion. That is ruled out, end quote. Two U.S. officials confirmed to ABC News that President Trump has directed the Pentagon to prepare options for the possible use of U.S. military force against drug cartels that have been designated as terrorist organizations. Inez de la Cutera, ABC News, at the foreign desk.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.